Are you planning on having more children in the future if you meet someone else? Hey guys, my name's Courtney and welcome back to my channel. I'm just gonna get comfortable. Today I am doing a Q&A video for you guys. Recently my subscriber count has been going up quite rapidly, so I thought that I would do a Q&A video so that you guys can get to know me a little bit better. I asked you guys on Instagram as well as on YouTube if you have any questions, and I got plenty, so I may even have to split this video up into two. We'll see how we go. Let's jump straight into it. I'm gonna go as quickly as I can and try and get through all of them for you guys. My questions are on my laptop, so if you see me looking down here, that's why. Question number one, Scarly Ruby Rose and the Crooks asked, how did you and Tiarne meet and was it awkward at first? Tiarne and I met through YouTube. We were pregnant at the same time and we were watching each other's videos on YouTube before we met. I mentioned in one of my videos while I was living in Townsville that I was moving to Brisbane soon, and she actually commented on that video saying that we should catch up. She doesn't recall doing this, but she did do it. I'll try and find it and insert it here if I can find it, although I have no idea which video it was on. So when I did move to Brisbane, within a few weeks of living here, I think it was maybe a month or so of living here, we caught up for coffee and it went from there. I don't think it was awkward at first. We kind of clicked pretty early on in the friendship. There was no awkward silences or anything like that, so I would say probably not. The only awkward thing is meeting someone that you don't know. When you meet someone online and you meet them in real life, there's always going to be a level of awkwardness, but for the most part we just clicked and there was not much awkwardness at all. Thalia, oh it's probably Thalia actually now that I'm think about it. Sorry, my daughter's name is Thalia. Thalia M, mummy of Baden and Bentley, asked, how are you affording everything now that you are not being supported by Andrew? Finances are different in every country, but here in Australia, I am currently on Centrelink payments for staying at home, being a single mum with my 1-year-old. So that mixed with child support is how I'm affording everything, and I don't really like that. I do want to get, you know, make my own way in life somehow, which is what I'm doing with YouTube, but at the moment that's how I'm making my money. Are you for real? Nads30 Meat and HX0 asked, at what age will you put your baby into childcare? Have you considered doing it to take a bit of a break and get some things done? Childcare is something that I'm cautious about. Thalia doesn't like people, so I have a feeling that they wouldn't really accept her anyway because she would just cry the entire time. But not only that, childcare is really expensive here in Australia, so I can't really afford it right now. So no, I don't think I will be putting her into daycare anytime soon. Life with Baby Leighton, Anonymous and the Orbs family asked, do you honestly feel like you and Andrew will try again if he discharges? This is a really good question because now that I'm out of the army house and I'm living here in my own space and kind of doing my own thing, I'm really happy. I don't even know how to answer this question because I don't know. I feel differently about Andrew when he's here compared to when he's not. So if he was to discharge, I'm not saying that no, it wouldn't happen, and I'm not saying that yes, I would give it another go. I don't know. I'm probably more leaning towards yes, but in saying that, I have no idea what the future holds. I'm really sorry, that's a terrible answer. I don't know. Anna S asked, does Thalia sleep through the night? My daughter wakes every hour to hour and a half. Any suggestions? Thalia has her moments. She's going through teething at the moment, so she is starting to wake up a couple of times a night, but when she's not teething, she does sleep through the night. The things that got her to sleep through the night from waking every 2 hours was we stopped breastfeeding at 1-year-old and we put her in her own room at 1 as well. We also taught her, I say we, it's me. I raised her by myself basically. I also taught her to self-settle when I went to sleep school. So those 3 things, the combination of those 3 things, I think is why she does sleep through the night most of the time. Chantel Caro asked, best advice you have been given? Oh, this is a good one. I'd probably say to not care what other people think of me. And I've been given this advice a lot, mostly from Tiarne, but before I met her, my dad also instilled that into me, that happiness doesn't come from what other people think of you, it comes from within and what makes you happy. And caring about what other people think of you really affects your mood, and why let it? It doesn't matter what people think of you. So that's probably my best advice that I've been given. Mummy of Baden and Bentley and Amy Rose asked, if and when Andrew moves to Brisbane, do you think you will give it another go? So that's different to if Andrew discharges from the army, and this one's a little bit easier because if he moves to Brisbane and he's still in the army, there is no way I'm giving it another go because I don't want anything to do with the army life. That's just how it is, and if he doesn't leave the army, there's no way that I'm going to be giving it another go. So the answer to that question would be no, unless he leaves the army, and then maybe. Alina Favaza, Lee Coco Life, and Ella's Life asked, if you could go back to work, what would you do if being a single mum and a flight attendant doesn't work out? What are you interested in? I do want to go back to work eventually. Ideally, I would have figured out what I wanted to do fresh out of school and I'd be doing it by now, but I would really love to be an embryologist. That's my dream job, but the amount of uni it would take mixed with having a baby is just not really ideal. So I don't have any future plans unless I do decide to go to uni to study to be an embryologist. Being a flight attendant's probably not going to work as a single mum. So, you know, here I am on YouTube trying to maybe earn some money. We'll see. The Orbs family asked, how are you handling being a single mum? I've been a single mum since she was 8 weeks old. Yes, I was married and yes, Andrew was my husband, but I've been raising her by myself, not financially. Obviously, Andrew has supported us financially up until we separated, which was, you know, great. That's a great thing to have, but being a single mum, it's all I know. So I'm going fine. I'm going great being a single mum, I think. I have my days of this is really hard and I don't want to do this anymore, but I think every mum goes through that, single mother or not. I didn't write down the person who asked this question, so I'm really sorry if it's you. Let me know down below. The question is, how old are you and what made you decide to get pregnant and have a baby? I am 26 now. I'm 27 in a couple of months. We were married and we decided to start a family. That's literally the extent of it. There was nothing else. That's just how it was. We were married and we were like, let's start a family. Anitha Leela asks, breastfeeding in public, your thoughts? Yes, I have nothing against breastfeeding in public, and personally I think that everybody who has a problem with breastfeeding in public needs to just realize that it's a mother feeding her baby and just get over it. That's my opinion anyway. Alina Favaza asked, how often do you and Andrew talk? We talk every day, multiple times a day. I call him very frequently with video calls so that he can speak to Thalia. That's probably the main reason I do it, and that we speak multiple times a day, but yes, we speak multiple times a day. Chantel Caro asked, what would you say to your 16-year-old self and favourite quote? Yeah, the 16-year-old self would be the best advice I'd been given. Just don't care what people think about you. I still struggle with this to this day and I'm working on it, but there's no point in caring what people think of you. That's what I would tell my 16-year-old self. And favourite quote, if I had to pick a quote off the top of my head, because I don't know if it's my favourite quote, but it's the only thing that comes to mind. Those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter. Shay Smith asks, have you and Andrew spoken about divorce yet? That's a good question, and no, we haven't actually really spoken about divorce. It's not something that we've had the time to sit down and talk about, or that either of us have felt the need to talk about. We're separated, and yeah, that's probably something we should talk about, but maybe when he moves to Brisbane we'll discuss it more. Cassia Barker asked, when Andrew lives closer, how much time will he be spending with Thalia? I'm guessing that's asking custody, and we have discussed custody, and ideally the long-term goal is for him to have her every second Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with me watching her during the day on Thursday and Friday because he works. And that would eliminate the need for daycare. But we're not going to jump straight into that because I'm all she knows and she's only met Andrew a handful of times, so it's going to be a very slow process to get her to that point, if that makes sense. We're going to be weaning her into it. I hope that makes sense. Cassia Barker also asked, do you think Andrew watches your videos? No, he does not watch my videos. Unless I put up a video that I specifically send to him in a text message because Thalia has done something cute that day, he doesn't watch them at all. He's just not interested in it, I don't think. Lee Coco Life asked, do you have a good relationship with your mother? I don't speak to my mother. I have another video that I've done that goes a bit more into detail, and I'll link it up in the iCards for you guys. So if you want more information about that, go watch that video. But no, I don't have a good relationship with my mother. We don't speak at all. Linda asked, would you ever do a live stream? I think I'm way too awkward to do a live stream. probably not. I mean, if enough people asked me to do one, I would do one for you guys, but I'm a super awkward person and I would, yeah, I don't know, we'll see. Romani O'Connell asked, did you see a strain on your marriage during TTC and how long were you trying for? That's a good question, and yes, we did see a big strain on our marriage while we were trying to conceive. A lot of it was to do with the fact that Andrew kept going away outfield and going away for work, and so it was hard for us to try and conceive in the first place because he was never home, and we were trying to conceive for six or 8 months. It was either 6 or 8 months, I can't remember. It was so long ago. Somewhere between 6 and 8 months, that's how long we were trying to conceive. Court Carpenter asked, what mummy YouTubers do you recommend? A Mother's Open Book, of course. Best mummy YouTuber out there. I obviously watch A Mother's Open Book. I also watch Jess Fam. She's probably my next favorite YouTuber. I do watch Rochelle and Justin, but I don't follow them as religiously as I used to. I also love Trez Chick Mama. I have no idea if that's how you say that, but I really like her channel too. I can relate to her because she's a single mum. And I love Brittany and Beatty. I love that channel too, Addicted. Claire Gray asked, what will you and Thalia do once Tiarne moves interstate? Cry. We will cry. I'm really not looking forward to it, to be honest with you. I don't think it's hit me that she's actually moving. We're going to stay in this house once she has moved because it's separate living quarters, unless I find that I can't afford this place or the tenants that move in upstairs after her are terrible. They're the two reasons I would move, but for now I'm just going to be staying here, but I will be crying every night while I drink my red wine. Amy Rose asked, what was your childhood like? Once again, I have done a video more in depth. It's the same video, I think, so I'll put it up here and I'll also put it in the description down below. So go check that out if you want more in-depth description of my childhood, but overall I feel like my childhood was fine. I grew up with a special needs brother and an absent mother, but even with those things in play, I had a great childhood. I had a roof over my head, I had a good education, I have a great father, I have a great family, I had a great childhood, basically. There are obviously bad aspects of my childhood, but I'm sure most people have that. Amy Rose also asked, how old were you when you had Bub? I think I was 26 when I had her. No, I was 25. It was just before my 26th birthday. So I turned 26 4 months after she was born. Amy Rose also asked, what was your parents' reaction when you told them you were pregnant? I don't speak to my mum, so I didn't even tell her I was pregnant. She found out. I don't even know how she found out, to be honest with you, but I recorded telling my family and my dad that I was pregnant, so I will also link that video up in the iCards for you guys to go check out if you want. You can actually see their reactions on camera. Ella's Life and Amy Rose asked, are you planning on having more children in the future if you meet someone else? Oh, this is a hard question. I'm not opposed to having more kids in the future. I don't think. Thalia is a very, very needy baby. She's a really hard kid to look after. I would have to make damn sure that the father of my child is going to be around this time because I'm not doing it by myself again. Yes, I would have more kids if the person that I met and fell in love with wanted kids themselves or wanted more kids, but I would have to make sure that they're definitely going to be around to help out. Ella's Life asked, if Thalia was a boy, what would her name have been? And if her name wasn't Thalia, what would it be? This is a really good question. If she was a boy, we had picked the name Cade for her. So if she was born a boy, that probably would have been her name. Her backup name, which we were kind of tossing up between Thalia and that name, was Audrey. So I really liked Audrey. Andrew wasn't 100% on it, so we just went with Thalia. Romani O'Connell asked, have you ever had to repurchase any of your cloth nappies due to wear and tear? No, I have had a couple of the snaps break off them, but I just contacted My Little Gum Nut, which is the brand of the nappies, and they just replace them for you and just send out a free replacement. So yes, but no. Haley asked, when will you teach Thalia to walk? This is a weird question because I feel like you don't really teach your kid to walk. I mean, you can, but I feel like that's a skill that they are either ready to do or they're not. And Thalia's getting there, but she's not quite there yet. Layla McKenzie asked, what city do you live in and can you do more Q&As? I live in Brisbane, and this is probably going to be the longest video that I've ever done. So you guys let me know if you're bored of it. I'll do more Q&As if you want, but I think Q&A has pretty much covered a lot. I am enjoying doing it though. Kerry Holbert asks, what's the hardest part about separation? This is a hard question because Andrew wasn't around before we separated. So the hardest part of separation for me is financially supporting myself. That's a very different circumstance to what most people, I guess, would say is hard, and that would be, you know, having to learn how to look after your baby by yourself and how to do everything around the house by yourself and not having your husband around. I'm assuming that's what most people would say is the hardest part about separation, but for me, it's just the financial thing because Andrew was never around to begin with. Kerry Holden also asked, is Thalia adapting well to the new house? And yes, she is adapting well. It took probably a week for her to fully understand what was going on, but now that we live here and we're here all the time and I'm here all the time, she's adapted perfectly fine, and she has just recently learnt to sleep through all the noises that go on upstairs, which is great. That's all the questions I have for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's long. I'm really sorry that it just went on and on and on, but that is all of the questions. I'm probably not going to split it into two. I'm just going to edit into one huge video. So enjoy that, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.